The learning intention here is to be able to understand how to make an exploded view. It's actually easier than you might think. Basically, if you can assemble components like we can see here, or the other exercises we've been doing, you'll be able to make an exploded view without any problem at all. It all starts in the assembly menu here. I'm going to have this in the background all the time, and I'm also going to open up the drawing template file that we created earlier. I'm straight away going to rename this exploded view. I'm going to go to the application button, I'm going to go to save as, and I'm going to call it exploded view. I'm going to switch back to my assembly. I'm going to save a copy of that as exploded view. This means that my original files will be left undisturbed, completely the same as before. In my 2D drawing file, I'm now going to bring in a base view. I'm just going to bring in one single view. For this job, I'm going to actually orientate the drawing so that I can see an isometric view. That'll do perfectly. Again, I'm going to increase the scale. I'm going to increase it by a factor of 2, so it's a 2:1 scale. I'm going to make sure that there's no hidden lines and that there's no rendering. I'm just going to place this approximately in the middle of the page. I'm going to hit escape so I don't get any more views. And I'm just going to rename that exploded view. Double click on the text, drag over the existing text, later on I'll have to change the scale, but that's pretty much all I'm going to have to do in this sheet. All of the work's actually done in the assembly file. What you need to do is go down the left hand side where you have the browser bar and open all of the subfolders. So press the little plus icons and it'll allow you to see everything that we've done in the history of creating this little object. The thing that we're interested in most are these things called constraints. So I've got things like mate 9 and mate 10, and I've got angle 3 here. It's these things that basically constrain or hold the objects together, and for an exploded view we want to separate them. If I hover over mate 9, you can see that this relates to the top hexagonal spacer and the main plastic bracket. If I click on that, you can see that a number appears down at the bottom. I can change that number. Right now the number's 0, and what that means is there's 0 millimeters between the plastic spacer and the bracket. I'm going to put in the number 10. When I press enter, you can see that the little plastic spacer now has jumped off the face of this piece here. Maybe this will also allow people to understand that Inventor updates other things and other files simultaneously. So you can see that my exploded view that we created a moment ago has now changed in line with what we did in our assembly. I'm going to go back to my assembly, and I now want to make this little screw jump back maybe 10 or 15 millimeters. I can find that screw here and I can hover over it and you can see it turns red. So the constraints that I want to alter are going to be hidden inside here. So there's the little screw there called JISB1174, that one there lighting up red. It's held against the surface of the upright plastic bracket by this little constraint called mate 8. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to change the number there. Let's try 15. And you can see that that screw has now jumped back about 15 millimeters. We can have a look at and see what that appears like in my exploded view 2D graphic. There you go, the screw has jumped back. I'm just going to do the exact same again for the lower part. If you can't find what you're looking for in the browser bar, you can actually click on it in the model. And you can see that that's lit up there in blue, that's that 15mm spacer. So it's going to be mate 11 that I need to alter here. Again, I'll set that as 10mm. The same thing happens as before. And if I can't find this screw, I can click on here and you can find it at the bottom. It's JISB 1174, this one here. Open the subfolder with the plus. Find the mate that holds it in place. It's this one here, mate 4. You might be wondering why I'm ignoring these ones here with the little red bullseye symbol. That's what holds it centered into the hole, and I don't want to change that. I just want to change the face-to-face constraints called mates. Just as before, I'm going to change this to 15. I can now go back to my 2D graphic. I can see something that I'm happy with. It's pretty much finished. What I could do is I could move it to the left. I could right click on it. I could copy it. I could paste another exact copy here. But this one, I'm going to right click, press edit view, and I'm going to make this one a rendered version. And I'm going to just change the text here by double clicking on it, pressing return to go down underneath, and just put rendered. So that would satisfy the requirement for technical detail and create a nice exploded view.